Hello and welcome back to the LFC transfer room or the transfer central today. Today we've got an all Scouse lineup. I've been away for a bit, but I still claim it. Matty, Jay, Matty, how you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Excited for the footy to be back. Bored of England about England and stuff. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, Jay, international break coming to an end. It's been a lot of drama, so back to club football. But how you doing?
All good, mate. Yeah, just glad the internationals are finished so we can get to some proper footy again.
Yeah, defo. We'll talk about it. Let's talk about it now if you want. I mean, Harry Maguire getting booed by a few people. What are your thoughts on it, Matty? Obviously, it happened to Joe Gomez. It happened to Raheem Sterling. It happened for decades with Liverpool and United players on England due to Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes. Why is it being made a massive deal out of now? And especially with all the players coming out.
It's a mad one really because as much as I hate Harry Maguire and I think he's awful, to be fair to him, in an England shirt he hasn't put a foot wrong ever, not to my knowledge. But all this, you'd think he's died. All these clubs coming out in support of him. Do you know what I mean? He's been booed. He's been booed in a game. It's ridiculous. It's mad they were booing him in the first place anyway. Because England, as an England fan, if you're in that stadium, I can't stand England, but if you're in that stadium, he's not done anything wrong. As a United fan, then you can boo him all you want because he's fucking shit. But you don't need to come out in solidarity for him, do you? Saying like you think he's died. I seen Spurs quoting something with a heart, and it's just like, get him going. Like, he's been booed. Joe Gomez literally got booed about 6 months ago, and Harry Kane put brilliant. Like, he's all the perfect writers on Insta.
The thing is that the reason why I think he's being booed is because when Gareth Southgate first joined, he said, "I'll be picking players on form. I'm not going to be picking players over, like on merit, basically on like, oh, I like, yeah." I mean, look, all three of us probably don't support England, so we're coming at this as a bit of a neutral point of view. So from my point of view, it's sort of like he said, "I'm not picking players on form. So now why are you choosing Harry Maguire? Because he's been shit for the past 2 years. So surely you shouldn't be picking him." And people are getting sick of it because he's so shit for England, and it's a bit of a mad one. I do agree. I don't know why he's been booed because he has been all right for England, but you're playing in a back three. It's fucking hard to be not good at the end of the day.
Cody's good for them.
Yeah, like it's hard to be shit in a back three. Let's be honest. And another thing as well that's really sort of annoyed me is Joe Gomez got attacked by an England player because of a spat that happened on the pitch while at England camp. He then went to play at Wembley and got booed. Where was all the support then? Like, why isn't Spurs coming out and saying, "Oh, we're with you, Joe Gomez"? Like, it's you would think that someone's being racially abused. It's mad in it, Jay. Like, what is happening? Like, I think it's been. Roy Keane said it perfectly. It's being blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
This thing, yo.
It's an overreaction, lads. I mean, the thing you've got to remember, he's the United captain. Like, if you can't take a bit of shit off the fans, then you're in the wrong game, aren't you? And the reason I thought it didn't make sense was the reason Maguire got that move to United for that amount of money was probably because of his England form. Because he has been solid for England, to be fair to him. But yeah, it's weird, lads. I don't get why people are booing a player that they don't support the club for, if you get me. Like, the people booing him probably weren't United fans, but he's there for England and that's who you're supporting. So what are you booing him for? Like, it makes no sense, but I'm not asked. He's a mank and it's England. I don't care about either of them.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what a lot of Liverpool things are like. Why you booing him, but also why the fuck's all this shit happening after it? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. Don't boo him, but then everyone's acting like he's been racially abused or he's been attacked by a fan or something. Madness, If he was in Real Madrid, he would not last a second because he'd get booed as soon as he stepped on the pitch. But the show is Transfer Central. Let's get down to it. I thought we just had to touch on it because it's been annoying me. First story we're going to go on to is Jude Bellingham. Matty and me have a very we love Jude Bellingham. We if you watch previous streams, we're on the Jude Bellingham train. We're driving it. Unfortunately, it looks like Real Madrid have now put their hat into the race, according to Build. They do say that Liverpool are still interested in him. They just said that Real Madrid have now, stepped up their interest in him. It is going to take around £80 million to sign him, Matty. And what we originally said previously is it's not going to be happening this year. It looks like he'll be leaving Dortmund at the end of next season. Do you think that, with Real coming into it, do you think it maybe Liverpool might look elsewhere, maybe not to compete, or do you think it is going to happen one day?
I think Jude Bellingham would be looking at it in a sense of what's the more exciting project, to be honest with you, because for me, I think Liverpool's a lot more exciting than Real Madrid at this moment in time. Yeah, Real Madrid have walked away with the league this year, but I've just had a look there, and they got knocked out the Copa del Rey. They won the Super Cup of Spain as well, and obviously they got Chelsea in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. But I don't think I've seen talk of for replacement for Ancelotti already, so he must have already lost the fan base and stuff. He must have the white handkerchiefs out. But why would Bellingham go there? The Spain's not as exciting as it once was. It's not as exciting project as it once was, and I think that the project with Jurgen Klopp is more exciting to Jude Bellingham. He is a Liverpool fan, I think, at heart, or his family Liverpool fans. It's the best league in the world. Adama Traore just went to La Liga, and he's got 6 or 7 assists. He's matched his assists in Wolves in his whole time there in 6 games. Aubameyang's looking a world beater over there. So, if Bellingham wants to test himself against the best, he's coming to the Premier League. And for me, the most exciting teams are Liverpool and Man City, but I think he would come to Liverpool. But it's whether we'd even go in for him with the kind of money that Dortmund are going to want. That's going to be the hard thing, really. We might get it priced out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, we have discussed on this channel before that a large majority of us think that Jude Bellingham will play for Liverpool at some point in his career, but we've got to remember he's 18 years old. When in his career he's going to be playing for us, we don't know when. It's not. He'll be 19 next year. Let's say he signs a 4-year deal with Real Madrid. He's still only going to be early 20s by the time that contract ends. And at the moment, Real Madrid are on the verge of maybe signing Mbappe. They're highly linked with Erling Haaland too. You've got Vinicius Jr., all very young, top-class players. And you should also look at Liverpool, and after 2023, Salah, Mane, and Firmino could all be out the club. Jurgen Klopp's only got a year left on his contract, and a lot of players are aging, even if we don't want to admit it. Virgil van Dijk's going to be, I think he'll be able to play at top level for years, but do you think he might look at Real Madrid and think their project's a bit more fresh and a bit more, ready to go now than Liverpool's?
Not really, no. I think Madrid have got the dough to sign Bellingham because they bid 160 million for Mbappe. They're going to get him for free now anyway. So whatever salary they had planned then, they've obviously still got now and 160 mil to spare. So I think Madrid are going to have one of them Galactico seasons where they bring in 3 or 4 superstars. But the thing I love about Bellingham, other than his footy, is his maturity. He doesn't strike me as a kid who's just going to Madrid or Barca because that's what you do. I think he'll go what's best for him. But the thing about the Liverpool and Madrid project is Madrid's midfield's proper aging, and so is ours. So both teams really need a young midfielder to carry on for the next 5-10 years type of thing. So I don't think it matters if Madrid come in. If we've got the money and they've got the money, I think he'll purely pick what he thinks best for him.
Yeah, I mean, both clubs have actually been heavily linked to Jude Bellingham and also Aurelien Tchouameni. I've been slated for him, but the Monaco lad, 21 years old. Both teams have been heavily linked with him. Tchouameni, you can probably get him for around 40 million euros, where Bellingham's going to be 100 mil, and you're going to be able to get Tchouameni next at the end of this season. So, I mean, looking at it, if one goes for the other, do you think the other comes to Liverpool? Let's say if Real Madrid get Tchouameni, do you think that? I'll give this to you, Matty. Do you think that Liverpool waited another year and then go for Bellingham the season after, or vice versa?
I think Liverpool will wait for whoever they want. We've seen it with Van Dijk, Alisson to an extent, and Luis Diaz. We only got him now because other clubs were after him. We were prepared to wait till the end of the season for him. So I do think we'd wait for Bellingham. Being realistic, if Thiago was to maybe go on the same injury regime that Matip and that has been on this season, next year, then that could maybe improve him. But we could wait another year for Bellingham, being realistic in terms of our midfield isn't terrible, and you've got Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones thrown in there as well. Maybe Bobby gets a new deal and drops back a bit deeper. You never know. I do think some of that from free will still stay. So it depends, really, because they're not going to get minutes over the likes of Diaz now, who's looking really exciting and creative at the minute. So I think we'd hold on, to be honest. I don't think we'd settle for the second best. Liverpool have never done that. Whatever player Liverpool want, Liverpool get, no matter what. So I do think we will get him, but I don't think it'll be this summer. I think he'll be up at Dortmund for another year, to be honest.
Yeah, another sort of area I think would be a good one. Liverpool, as you've said, the midfield is aging, Jay. Even though Fabinho's only 28, he could really do it a backup because there's no one there to properly back him up. Jordan Henderson, James Milner, trying to think of other ones who are, Thiago pushing on that 30. So that's probably the next position that we sort of need to start getting a bit of a clear out on. What's stopping Liverpool going all right? At the end of this season, we'll buy Tchouaméni for 40 million, and then he's bedded in. He can be a Fabinho replacement and also play a bit more advanced. And then also the season after, we'll take Bellingham too. I mean, that's our midfield then sort of for the next 10 years. Do you think? I mean, it's unlikely, but we think it would be possible, considering that it would be a massive statement for the future.
It'd be a good thing to do, but it depends, because obviously I think Tchouaméni, when you mentioned 40 mil, I'm sure I've seen somewhere they want 60. So if he's not going to go straight into the 11, I don't see us spending 60 mil on him to be back up for Fabinho, because we only play the 1-6. So no, I don't see that happening, because I know obviously Klopp likes to wait before he starts playing people, but Fabinho's going to be in your first 11 every time. So I don't see you spending 60 mil for him to sit on the bench for when Fabinho's got a knock or resting him for cup games or whatever. So no, I don't see Tyler Morton as well has been getting games, so I don't see them spending 60 mil for a squad player.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. They are obviously two very different players, but both can play similar midfield positions. I think it relies a lot on if we sell Salah, honestly. I think if we were to sell Salah, we'd go and get one of them this summer. If not, then, I think it'd just be one of them. I mean, maybe we're just being a bit greedy. You never know. FSG might surprise us once in a life. It'd be nice. One person we have been linked to is RB Salzburg's newest unbelievable striker, which they seem to pump out every few years. Erling Haaland was one, and now Karim Adeyemi, who's been linked to everybody else. They've now got a new 18-year-old before they've even replaced Adeyemi, called Benjamin Sesko, Slovenian 18-year-old. A local Slovenian paper come out and said that Liverpool are interested in him, along with Borussia Dortmund, Man City, Tottenham, Juventus, and Bayern Munich. I'm going to assume no one's really seeing much of him, but he has been called the mini Haaland. He's 6'2" though, and he's meant to be rapid as well. So he's very much in the Haaland shape. Would you take a risk on him, Matty? I mean, the price as well is around 10 million, 7 to 10 million that you're going to be looking for, and he's only 18 years old. We took the risk on Minamino. Do you think you might take the risk on him to not let another club get an Erling Haaland?
I don't think so. No, I think it was key on what you said there. I think Adeyemi's going to be leaving, so probably goes to Dortmund to replace Haaland anyway. So will Salzburg then let their replacements leave in the same window as the replacements is leaving? I don't think so, no. I think if you're going to anyone from Salzburg, I'd be all over that Adeyemi. If we are going for an attacker from that league, his numbers are stupidly good. I think sometimes he's been best in Haaland, haven't he, in that league? So he looks like a serious talent, but I don't think they'll be selling him. I think it's just all rumours. Maybe to get him a better contract because they know he's about to become the main man. Or something like that. We see it all the time with agents. I just don't think he's genuinely going to be leaving, to be honest. Just purely because he's definitely leaving him this summer, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, 7 to 10 million, it's in nowadays money, it's not much of a risk, is it? So let's say if we did sign him and he's happy to be a bit of a backup, I mean, you can't really complain, can you? He's 18 years old. It looks like Minamino is going to be leaving as well, along with Origi, who's joining for AC Milan. So, I mean, we don't know much about what he is like as a player. He sort of reminds me of Haaland. So, I mean, I'd be all over him, but, it's not up to us, is it?
I've seen him twice actually in the pub.
Yeah.
The pub has him on the foreign. He's not really like Haaland on the games I've seen him. He's got like better feet, more of a dribbler than Haaland. Haaland's obviously just knocks it past you, and he's a monster. Just completely out battles you for strength. But this kid's like better with his feet. But I think it's like what Matty said. I think his agent's just trying to get him on the radar for the next season or the season after, because this is only his first season playing for them. He was out on loan, so I don't see them letting him go. But even if we did sign him, I don't see him being in the squad. He'd probably get loaned out anyway to see how we can cut it in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, literally as we're speaking as well, Dortmund, Salzburg are actually getting sick of Borussia Dortmund stalling, and I think they've given them a deadline. And Liverpool are still interested in him. So, I mean, what do you do if you just go for him? I think it was 40 million that they were looking for, weren't they? I think they've got a set price on him. I mean, would you go for him if he's available, especially we're going to talk about it next, but with, the front three's contracts or declining?
100%, I would. He's one for the future. He's still young. How much players come on in with Jurgen Klopp and his team's mad. So he's only going to come on. He's had better numbers than Haaland in that league. Now, that's not saying he's going to be as good as Haaland, but he has the potential to be as in that bracket. You're losing Origi. I think you could probably get 15. If we win Everton this year, you could demand 15-20 mil off Leeds for Minamino, easy. If we win everything, everyone's ceiling value just goes up. So then there's half of the money paid for him already anyway, and he's got the talent to double, maybe triple that value. So I'd be all over that. He looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like we are going to be signing another forward player, Jay. And he's in that price range that we like to pay, 40 million. He can play on the wing. He can play left wing as well, I'm pretty sure. And, striker, something that a lot of the players we have bought aren't specialists in. So I think a deal could be done because we were linked with him originally as well.
Yeah, I'd go for him more than Kunku because I think one of the front three at least is definitely going to go. So one of them will need replacing. But I'd be happy with either of them two. They both look top players.
Yeah, I mean, we'll move on to the front three. We've obviously spoken about Salah's contract 1 billion times on this channel, so we'll stick away from that and focus on the front three as a full. David Lynch, Liverpool Echo, Mirror, does a lot of reporting for a lot of Northwest papers. He said that at best, only 2 of the 3 of the outer contract from 3 players, so Salah, Mane and Firmino, are likely to end up staying at Liverpool past the 2023 season. Jay, it's Salah is one that everyone wants signed. Mane seems to be stalling until Salah's contract gets signed to see what his agent can demand, and Firmino's just sort of chilling. Not much has been said about him. Who do you think is going to be the one that misses out, or is there going to be more who miss out?
I can't say. I think the one that's probably guaranteed to get a contract, it might surprise people, but I think it's Firmino, just for how much Klopp loves him and for how important he is to Klopp's system. The other 2, mate, I've got to be brutally honest, I don't see this Salah thing getting resolved. The talks have been going on a year, and I've been on the last 2, where I've done full circle. At first, I was saying FSG are idiotic to let him go, and it's on them being stingy. But Salah keeps saying, I want to stay, I want to play for Liverpool and that. At the end of the day, it's his decision if he signs the contract or not. He's obviously not on bad money now. Whatever he's been offered is obviously going to be better than whatever he's on now. If you're that desperate to play for Liverpool, play for Liverpool. Ignore your agent. At the end of the day, whatever his agent's asking for, if he really, really wants to stay, he stays. It's got nothing to do with his agent. His agent can ban numbers around all he wants. He doesn't sign it, Salah does. But I don't see it getting solved, mate. And Mane doesn't strike me as someone who is hell-bent on money. So out the three of them, I probably think it's going to be Firmino and Mane, but definitely Firmino.
Yeah, I mean, Sadio Mane is on 80k a week, I'm pretty sure. He's not on a lot of money. He's been on the same contract for a long time now. And Salah Matty is asking for 420k, which looks like he's happy to go down to 400k, but there's still like 100k price difference between both sides. And as Jay said, Firmino, he does sort of strike me as someone that is sort of happy just to play second fiddle and, see his career out at Liverpool, because I think he loves the city, he loves the fans, and even if he isn't playing, he's appreciated and the fans understand what his role is. So do you agree with Jay that, it could be Firmino who's the most likely to stay?
I'd love Bobby Firmino to get a new deal. I want him to stay. I want him to see his career out at Liverpool. He's fantastic. He's so underappreciated, Bobby Firmino. And there's a quote, I can't remember who it was by now, and it said something like, if you watch the ball, you see the game. If you watch the ball, you see something. If you watch Firmino, you see the whole game. It's so true. Like he's so much more important to the team than a goal scorer or someone who gets assists. He's fantastic. He can play second fiddle. I don't think he's that asked about money. He's got enough money, and I agree with Jay about the Salah thing as well. If we're offering him 300 grand a week and he's kicking his fuss up over 100 grand, yeah, he should be paid that money. He deserves to, because all the other players are paid that. But the players who are getting paid that are by City, which is just oil money. They can pay them what they want. Liverpool doesn't operate on that ethos, and it never has, and it never will. And you always play for the badge on your shirt, and no player's bigger than the club. And don't get me wrong, I'd be absolutely heartbroken if Salah does go. And you could say, yeah, FSG is being stingy, but we're one of the only clubs that are operating at a loss. And we're in a fantastic financial situation. The club's looking brighter than it ever has in recent years. So I don't like them. I don't want them to stay. But if Salah's kicking off over 100 grand, then let him go. Like we've seen with Coutinho, and now faking an injury to go to Barca, the grass wasn't greener. So if Salah goes to PSG, good luck in that league. Do you know what I mean? If he wants to prove himself as the best, he stays at Liverpool and he's not asked up 100 grand. Completely.
Yeah, I had this debate with Jack in one of our group chats as well. We can't be offering players 400 grand a week, because as soon as that happens, Mane is going to come in and say, "Oh, I want 350 grand a week," and then Virgil's going to be like, "Well, I'm as important as Salah to Liverpool. Why can't I have that?" And then in a few years' time, Trent's going to be like, "I'm the greatest right back in Premier League history, and I'm 23 years old. I'll be having some of that." And then Alisson, and then all of a sudden you've got 4 or 5 players all on 400 grand a week, and the wage structure's messed up. And unfortunately, it's as hard as it is to see Salah go. If he's forcing this, Jay said it perfectly. His agent's the one who's peddling all this, peddling all Liverpool on playing this. All the recent leaks to all the journalists are coming directly from his agent. If Salah doesn't want this, he can tell him to stop. He pays him the money. He pays the agent his money. So, why is, if he's more focused on the money, then see you later, in my opinion.
The thing with Salah is, though, he is obsessed with breaking records. Obsessed.
Yeah, he'll stay at Liverpool.
That's what I think, and I think he wants to go on and be the greatest ever goal scorer for Liverpool. He's obsessed with records.
You don't need 400 grand a week for that, though.
I think that's the only way he stays. If at the end of the season we don't offer him more, he thinks, you know what, fuck it, I just want to be the greatest Liverpool scorer, and he'll go, you know what, I'll just take what's on the table. Or he's hoping Liverpool come back with a slight improvement. No. If he's asking for 420 and we're offering 3, let's say they met at 325, 350, which to be honest I still don't think is crazy money. when you look at some of what other players are being paid. But that's the only way I see it happening now.
Yeah, I mean, there was a report from Egypt, like one of the big sources in Egypt, saying that the original offer from Liverpool was 280 grand, and they were willing to go up to 300. And Salah's agents was 420 grand, and they were willing to go down to 400. So I can't see them meeting in the middle of 350 grand. 'Cause I don't think the club will pay that, and I don't think Salah's agents will want to go down to that. So I think this is gonna go on for a long time, and I think there's gonna be a point where where fans and Klopp as well are going to be like, well, we can replace you. It's going to be hard, but we've replaced people before. We didn't think we could replace Suarez. It took us a few extra years, but we replaced Suarez. We didn't think we could replace Torres. We replaced him with Suarez. We didn't think we could replace Coutinho. This has been a thing for years with Liverpool, and at the end of the day, we're not just one player. We're bigger than one player, and if he doesn't appreciate that after being at the club for 5 years, then see you later. We can get someone else who cares more about the club, in my opinion.
I do think he'll sign it, though. I really do. I think it'll be all 350 a week. I do think he'll stay.
What would you do, boys, if he doesn't sign in the summer? And obviously, would you sell him? Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
you'd get 80 million for him easily.
Maybe one more than that.
Yeah,
and 100 million.
Yeah, you'd get 80 million pushing 100 mil. I don't think you'd get more than 100 million. But I reckon you could definitely go to Juventus and say, you signed a 34-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo who was shite. Like, here's Mo Salah, one of the best players in the world. Give us 100 mil there.
And they just signed Vlahovic, though, haven't they?
I don't think it matters if Mo Salah has got 1 year left on his deal or not. To be honest with you, I don't think, because he's Mo Salah and he is one of the best players in the world. I don't think that comes into it. Yeah, it has a little effect because you're not going to pay 250 million for him, but I think you could get 120 million for Salah easy. If Jack Grealish is 100 million, like Jay just said, Mo Salah, easy.
You've got to look at Jack Grealish as different, though. He's English. There's the English tax. He's 24 years old. He didn't have 1 year left on his contract either. Declan Rice is getting touted at 150 million now, just purely because he's English. I think you'd struggle to get anything over 100 million personally, but I think anything over 80 million's a good price for me, because I think you can get two players for that, especially the way Liverpool work. And maybe we do just say, whatever, we'll just go inside Jude Bellingham. We don't need to replace Salah. Klopp will be like, I trust Diaz, I trust Jota.
Don't put Jota on that right. We do need to replace him if he
I'll put Mane over there then.
I think if Salah's going, his replacement will be signed before he's sold.
I think it'll be
selling first. You're showing everyone your hand because they know you need the replacement and they know you've got 80 or however many million you make on them. So I'd make the replacement signing prior if it was me, prior to him going.
I do think that's what's going to happen anyway, especially since we've been linked with the likes of Antony and Rafinha. I think no matter if Salah signs or if he leaves, they're just going to sign a right winger anyway, especially to Salah as well, to say, look, we love you, but we've got Antony and Rafinha here. If you...
The only thing is, I think might sway Salah if he does go to like Barca or Madrid or something is purely to win the Ballon d'Or, because he's probably got a better chance to win the Ballon d'Or if he goes to one of them clubs, and that maybe might have a thinking in his mind, to be honest. But I still think he'll sign
it. They've changed the rules on Ballon d'Or though, so it's not club based anymore.
It's still going to be fixed though. Messi's probably still going to be top 10.
Yeah, but
Jorginho third.
Yeah, hopefully we'll never see anything like that again. But just really quickly to finish on Salah, I know we said we never wouldn't talk about Salah, but we always end up talking about Salah. I think somebody said it in one of our group chats that they think Salah's been poor since the contract situation, and my sort of thinking was Salah's been poor since AFCON, since he lost on AFCON. I mean, how important is his form in this running towards his contract? Let's say he does get back to the start of the season where he's banging in 2 goals every game. That makes it more of a case for Liverpool, doesn't it, to say, okay, we'll meet your demands, But if he's dropping performances like he has been recently, then surely Liverpool stick in their position and say, well, you've been shite for half the season, so you're not getting your 400 grand that you want.
I think I do think he has been poor since the AFCON, but I think he's just fucked. Like every time he's like, where all the other players, and that like Trent and that now have had time to be injured, but just have time off. Salah's not had that, to be honest. He's been playing like a workhorse for how many years? Like he's had minimal time off. I think he is just absolutely done in and deserves a rest. And yeah, he's played poor, but Liverpool are still in win every game now. To the end of the year, we win everything. So I don't think it's. I think we can deserve to rest him and stuff as long as he's on it for City. That's all that matters.
Yeah, didn't he play like 3 extra times in the AFCON as well? All the way through. That takes its toll. And then again last night.
I mean, him and Mane though, like you can't. Mane was in the exact same situation. I think Salah played maybe one more extra time than him, but you know, I think Mane's been better since he come back from AFCON. You know, he started scoring again. He looks a bit more dangerous up front. So I do think it's taken a toll. I don't think it's the contract situation with Salah. I do think he's mentally been drained from AFCON. You know, there's been murmurs that he is going to retire from international duty this afternoon too. And I think this is going to be a massive toll on him when he comes back, and it'll be a make or break situation to see if he can mentally recover from being, not going to the World Cup. Probably one of his last good chances to play in the World Cup too. So it's be a tough one, but let's move away from Salah. We talk about him every day. Neco Williams having a very, very good loan spell with Fulham. Looking like that they're gonna try and make it permanent. Liverpool were asking for 10 million last season. No one came in, and Fulham are one of the favourites to get promoted as well. David Lynch said that he thinks that Fulham are going to go in for them if they do get promoted. Think it's a good move for Liverpool to sell him, Jay?
Not without getting a replacement now, because I think Nico's got. The problem is because Trent's so young, Nico's probably never going to get into our side, and that's the problem. Trent's that good, but I don't like Gomez at right back. I'm a big fan of Gomez, by the way, but I don't want him playing right back. He's not a right back. I don't like centre-halves playing right back whatsoever. So I'd sell him to them as a sweetener for Carvalho anyway, but we definitely need like cover at right back still. Another right back if we sell him, because I don't like playing centre-halves right back myself. It takes away the whole attacking edge of the side when you put a centre-half at right back. So if we're going to sell him, I'd say we do need a replacement for him.
I mean, he's a Welsh international. He plays there a lot. He's a homegrown player as well, which nowadays is very important. But we do have Conor Bradley there, Matty. Very, very highly rated, already being capped for Northern Ireland before he even played for Liverpool. Do you think that Bradley could replace him? As Jay said, you're not getting much game time as a backup right back for Liverpool. So why can't we give it to Bradley and see what he can
do? I like Conor Bradley, but when I've seen him, when he's made, he played for a week, didn't he? When we played loads of the kids, and he just looks like a kid. That's the issue. I think he's years off playing competitively at a high level for Liverpool. He's very highly thought of. Like you said, he goes international cap before even making his debut. He does look a huge talent, but he still just looks like a kid. It's like Tyler Morton. He looks fantastic, but you probably play him against Spurs and he looked like a kid. So these kids are still years off. So I agree, Jay, we need to sign a right back if we're letting Neco go. I would let Neco go. I've never been a fan of Neco Williams, but he's good enough to go and play for Fulham, who in Championship, Premier League. I like Harry Wilson. That's probably his standard, and Liverpool shouldn't be standing in the way of that just so he's a cover. He's a young kid. He deserves to play games, so let him go. But we do need to go and sign someone and not rely on kids, even if it's an experienced someone in the latter stages of career who come in and sit on the bench at right back, like a mature head. Then I wouldn't be annoyed at that either, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Tsimikas has been a massive revelation, since coming in. He hasn't played, loads, but he's played enough where it's been noticeable that we've seen that he is good enough for Liverpool. Let's say we sell him for around 10 to 15 million, Neco Williams. Who would you bring in for him? who's out there to bring in?
It's hard to say because obviously it's the similar thing we were talking about Chimeni before. I love Tarek Lamptey, but you're not going to sign Tarek Lamptey to sit on a bench. It's the reason he left Chelsea was because he didn't even make the bench at Chelsea, but Livermento's another one at Southampton. There's loads of good right backs about, but if you're signing them, you're going to be paying big fees for them, and you can't really go spending 20, 30, 40 millions on wing backs that you're not going to play. Like I say, I love Lamptey. I'd love him at Liverpool, but where's he play and when does he play?
Yeah, Tsimikas was a really good, no one knew about Tsimikas before he joined. He was in the Greek league, and he was a good left back for them. He was a decent left back, and he's come in here and he's proved I've got decent quality here. I can maybe push Robertson for that position, but no one's going to be pushing Trent. Like, Trent is a generational player. And we've spoken about this before, but the only way you're going to be able to get in as a right back in Liverpool is if, one, Trent gets injured, which hasn't happened in his career yet, or if, two, Trent gets moved to midfield, something that Klopp has said that he isn't doing. So it's just not a good prospect to come into Liverpool and be a right back, especially if you're English as well. I think somebody who's from a foreign league could come in and see it as a challenge, similar to what Tsimikas did. But, we're not watching the Greek league or the Belgium league every week. I'm sure Liverpool have some ideas who to buy, but I personally think they'll stick with Bradley, if I'm going to be honest. I think he's really highly rated within the setup, and a lot more rated than Neco Williams ever was, if I'm going to be honest. But
I'm with Matthew on Bradley though, when I watch him, he doesn't look like a right back. Like, he's not mobile. Do you remember when Carragher used to play at right back? His body, it's hard to explain, but the way he moves isn't for a wing back. He's very like stiff in his movement. And Bradley reminds me of Carragher, the way he moves. I don't reckon he'll stay a right back for the rest of his career, Bradley.
I mean, he's only 18. There's a lot of room for improvement there. I don't like saying that somebody isn't suited to a role when they've still growing as a person. He's got until he's 21, until he's fully developed. He in that time he could become the perfect mold for a right back, and the position's changing every day. Maybe he's not as defensively sound, but Trent isn't as defensively sound, and he's become probably one of the best right backs in Premier League history. So I'd stick behind Bradley, if I'm being honest, especially if he's happy to be a backup and he's happy to learn under Trent. And I don't think that's what Williams is happy to do. I think he's spoken about it already. He's pretty open to moving to, even if it is to a championship side. And, we've seen that could be his level, unfortunately. Well, it is what it is, isn't it? Let's be honest. I don't think any of us are going to be asked if he leaves. He's never getting a game, extra 10 million for us. So, yeah, but I think that's all. Keep it quite short. Got a banging headache as well, which is absolutely lovely. I completely forgot as well. We are sponsored at the moment by Manscaped. So if you want to go and get any razors or stuff to shave, anything, go into the description. Use the code TR2020 for 20% off and free shipping. Again, if you are new as well, please make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be having content for you every single day for the whole year, as much as we can. Appreciate 3K subs as well. We're going to be having a quiz similar to what we did for 1K subs. And there's a few more things in the work for you guys. We're going to be trying to get memberships up and running within the next few weeks with the Discord server. So lots of exciting stuff. But go and follow Jay and Matty on Twitter and myself if you want. But thank you everybody for joining. And